Hey everyone, this is John from HeyUGuys, and today we're going to be looking at our favourite moments from everything we know about The Force Awakens so far. Now, a new Star Wars film is always a big deal, but this one is a little different. JJ Abrams has kept his mystery box nice and closed. So far it's been a carefully controlled succession of teasers and pokes to the fans to say, here's the things that you're going to be looking forward to when Star Wars The Force Awakens hits cinemas in December. So join us as we take a look at our favourite moments from the trailers so far. Number 1. The focus on the new characters. Let's go back to the very first frame of the first trailer we saw for Star Wars The Force Awakens. JJ Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy have always said this would be about handing over to a new generation. And who's the first person that we see in the trailer? It's Finn, in a stormtrooper's outfit, looking terrified. Instantly we want to know who he is, where he's going, what his motivation is. And who's the first person that we hear?
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Andy Serkis as Supreme Leader Snoke, telling us there has been an awakening. You are not wrong, Mr. Snoke, there has been an awakening. Now we go to the very first full trailer, and it sets up the character of Rey, of Finn, and of Kylo Ren. These are the people who will be taking the Star Wars saga forward. The first trailer is very well cut together, and it shows us that Rey is looking for a purpose, a new life perhaps. Finn is looking for something to fight for, and Kylo Ren is looking into Darth Vader's melted face and saying,
I will finish what you started.
He's going to continue the work of someone that he clearly idolises. Instantly, we can relate to each one of these people, we understand their motivations, and we have more questions, which is the perfect tease for this new generation. We look back at the prequels, not only did we know the fate of some of the people involved, but we look at Anakin. What's his motivation? To win a pod race, perhaps? Obi-Wan Kenobi, his motivation seems to be to grow a mullet and to keep a petulant child in check. And Jar Jar, what's his motivation? To be the living embodiment of the worst idea of all time. With The Force Awakens, JJ Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy got this exactly right. New characters, familiar situations, but we want to know exactly what happens to them. Now, the next great thing about the Star Wars marketing so far has been the things that we recognise. JJ Abrams understands that we need to see familiar things, places, names, and all the rest of it for us to engage with the series once again. So, we see sunsets on desert planets with moist evaporators, springing out of the ground. We see R2 being touched by a bionic hand. Instantly we understand these things in the context of the Star Wars universe. We see a lightsaber that we haven't seen since Empire Strikes Back passed from one person to another. We see the Falcon going into hyperspace. We see Leia in the Rebel base. All of these things are essential for us picking up the Star Wars franchise. We know these things, we've seen these places before, but we've never quite seen them in this context. That is why this is exciting, that is why they are included there, and that's what they got right. But it's also what they don't show us. So far we haven't seen Luke Skywalker, we've only seen glimpses of the Knights of Ren. They know the questions that we're going to have for them. They know that we're going to be wondering about Luke. They know that we're going to be wondering about Han and Leia. These people are important to us, and these questions have featured prominently in all of the marketing so far. One of the next things that we loved was the ComicCon Real, and many people were disappointed we didn't get new footage at Comic-Con this year, but actually we got something far more important. A mini documentary looking behind the scenes of creating the next chapter in the Star Wars universe. They talk about old faces, practical effects, they talk about the love that people have for this series, people who are making it, and you understand it, it feels tangible. You see that they built all of these sets, you see that they have all of these actors coming back, and the music that they use is just absolutely perfect. In many ways, it was a love letter to Star Wars, and I think that's what people expect Star Wars The Force Awakens to be. You only have to look at how we found out about the names of our new characters when Lucasfilm revealed the names on the Topps trading cards. Now, these were meant to look like the old 70s cards, and they did their job perfectly. They evoked a nostalgia and a love for the series, and they gave us some information, of course, asking more questions, but that's the point, about our new characters in this old world. Something else that really has touched people about this new film are the already iconic shots that we've seen peppered throughout the trailer. The second trailer opened up with Rey's speeder jetting across the dunes of Jakku, and in the background, what many people thought initially was a mountain was in fact an enormous Star Destroyer that had plummeted, crashed into the desert planet. Instantly, we recognise it. Instantly we have questions. And that's exactly why we are so intrigued about Star Wars The Force Awakens. Just take a look at the shots of the TIE fighters as they approach, set against the massive sun of Jakku. It could have been Michael Bay, but in fact it looks a lot more like Apocalypse Now. We understand it, and there's a tangible sense of danger. You look at Vader's melted mask. These are things we recognise. These are things that have already become icons and iconic images. Now what makes them great and perfect marketing is that they reveal something and then they make us ask questions, and then the film, of course, is the thing to answer them. And there's one shot which does this perfectly, and it displays the difference between this and the prequels. In one of the recent TV spots, we see Rey and BB-8 looking overhead, horrified, as a legion of TIE fighter and First Order ships zoom overhead. It's clearly planning an invasion. Now you compare this to the shot from the very first trailer of The Phantom Menace, where we saw the droid ship approach the planet of Naboo and then land in a forest area. No one cares, but the shot of Rey, shot from below, looking up as this enormous horde swarms over her and then cutting to her terrified face, that gives an example of how JJ Abrams is going to do things differently to George Lucas. George Lucas was all about, here's a big ship, it's approaching a planet, it's very terrifying, isn't it? Go on, honestly. No, we didn't care. And the fact is that you shoot something like that, you shoot it from Rey's point of view or below Rey's point of view, and you show her reaction, that's good filmmaking. We don't need to know who's in that ship. What we know is that it's bad news. It's that kind of shot that really makes this marketing particularly good. And that leads us nicely to the next point, which is the tangible danger that JJ Abrams has put in each of these trailers. Some of the images that we've seen have been really violent and quite terrifying. The firestorming of the village. Every shot we've seen of Captain Phasma is a slow motion walk through infernos and terror. It's perfect. There's the shot of Poe getting his mind melted by Kylo Ren's force powers. You look at how they're shooting the battles. You're putting cameras on the side of X-Wings. You're showing an X-Wing destroying a TIE fighter from behind, a bit like a video game, but you get it. It's immediate. It's there. Now these things have been put in there because they're saying this is a different type of Star Wars. It's visceral. You are going to see things you haven't seen before, but they are all there to put you in the action. You see Rey shooting, terrified, angrily at Kylo Ren as he is walking towards her, smashing away her laser blast with his lightsaber. You compare it to someone like Natalie Portman firing her gun at Attack of the Clones, and she's just like blam, 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 no one cares. And then you have the shot of Kylo Ren moving his lightsaber towards Rey's neck. She's terrified, and this is the point. It's dangerous. There's something at stake here. We don't know how things are going to turn out. And then we have the final moment.
Chewie, we're home.
Chewie, we are indeed home. This shot was placed perfectly at the end of the second teaser. It debuted at Celebration, and of course the crowd went crazy for it. It was the perfect culmination of 30 years of waiting, of being disappointed by the prequels. We got to see our old friends again, and there is nothing quite like that for a Star Wars fan. And we still have many questions to be answered, and we've got new friends to get to know. But what has been perhaps the most effective and carefully constructed marketing for a film ever has been an amazing ride. That's it for this video. We've got into detail on the poster and the other trailers in the series, so check them out here. And if you like what you see, please do subscribe and check back for more of these videos. And in the comments, why not tell us what you are most looking forward to from Star Wars The Force Awakens?